We're back at Silverstone for rounds 13, 14 and 15 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Just think of all the memories, all the moments that have happened around this iconic racetrack, and think about these young drivers looking to make memories on their way to superstardom. Last time out it was Elite Motorsports who dominated here. Alex Catoulis won the first race, with Isaac Phelps winning the second race, and they'll be looking to repeat that feat here. But they're up against some of the best young drivers that the UK and Europe and the world has to offer here in the GB4 Championship. We're expecting big things this weekend. As you can see behind me, it's kind of overcast, it's pretty cold here, so it's going to take a while for those drivers to get a bit of warmth into their tyres, but once they do, we're going to see some epic racing around this iconic racetrack here at Silverstone. Of course, we are a few rounds into the championship. The first race coming up will be round 13 of the season, and well, we've seen some fantastic battles out on track so far. So before we talk about this weekend here at Silverstone, let's remind ourselves of what happened last time out over in East Anglia at Snetterton.
Round 10 of the GB4 Championship started with drama. Leandro Juncos, unfortunately, a little bit too quick to get off the line, and he would be given a 10-second time penalty. But out front, it was Ari Bansal leading us from pole position. 4 pole sitters in 4 rounds. The 2 elite cars of Bansal and Isaac Phelps got clean starts from the front row, and they would take us through the first few corners. We would see drivers pushing the limits going round this Snetterton 300 circuit. Battles going on down the field there. Stefan Bostandiev just making some positions, but out front, Ari Bansal led us from start to finish to take his second win of the season. Round 11 highlights. It was another 1-2 on the grid for Ari Bansal and Isaac Phelps, but this time that 1-2 wouldn't last for long. Dan Ginchard would climb straight through into second place after a great start and go straight on the attack for Ari Bansal. A spin a little bit further back for Dudley Ruddock, unfortunately, and then there would be dramas a little bit further back in the field as we got congested going into the first corner. This happened as well. We had Alex O'Grady and Thomas Ingram Hill coming together on the first lap. Thomas Ingram Hill did a good job eventually to recover and get back in the pack. Then Leon Wilson and Leandro Juncos coming together. Complete miscommunication between the drivers, and Juncos would be into pit lane with that suspension damage. This was the spin for Jason Pribble coming through Coram. A very challenging corner, very fast corner, and Pribble felt the full force of that there late on in the race as the tyres wore on. Ginchard challenged Bansal on the final lap, couldn't quite get through. Coulthard spun on the final lap as he dropped a rear wheel on the grass. Out front, Bansal held off the late pressure from Ginchard to take 2 wins in 2. Let's have a look back at the highlights. Round 12 got underway after a little bit of a delay due to Callum Baxter not being able to take part in the race. He broke down on the formation lap. That did not change things out front, though. This is going to be a great move coming in now. Leon Wilson, second place. He went from 3rd to 2nd and then from 2nd to 1st with a great move down the inside at the hairpin to snatch the lead away. Ari Bansal had been undefeated all weekend and unbeatable, but his race came to an immediate end there as Hilton clattered straight into the side of him. That brought out the safety car. It also brought out problems for Dayton Coulthard, who had to go all the way around the outside. When we did get back going, it was a 4.5 minute sprint to the line pretty much, and it developed 2 battles, one for the overall lead, one for 3rd place. Juncos charged down the inside of Ginchard and then round the outside at Hallman just a few corners later. The Argentinian pushing on for a podium finish to try and get back there again. But out front it would be history made. Leon Wilson, a first win for him and for the team in the GB4 Championship.
Strong weekend for Dan Ginchard means that he comes into this weekend in the GB4 Championship with a 36-point lead over Ari Bansal, and actually all 3 elite drivers in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So elite Very dominant here the first time we were at Silverstone. Let's see if they can push Dan Ginchard for that championship lead. Elite obviously just on the cusp of 500 points in the championship as well. Really dominating GB4 this year. We do have some new faces on the grid. We're going to run through as many of those as possible, as well as talking about drivers that are returning after maybe being away. Luca Magnussen is joining us after missing out at Snetterton last time out. But we have a new driver at Douglas. His name is Ian Kralin. He's just turned 15 years old, and he's put it second on the grid for this first race, and I caught up with him earlier. Ian, an amazing performance from you. This is the second time ever that you've driven a single-seater car, and you've put it second on the grid for this first race. How are you feeling about that?
Quite good. We were preparing the last 8 months for this, and also for last week in Zandvoort. Between GB4 and F4 is not big difference, only the traction is a bit better in the GB4. Quite happy for the second quali here in Silverstone. Yeah.
Obviously, having just turned 15, it means you're able to race in this series, but you say you've done a lot of preparation and practice to get to this stage. What kind of things have you been doing? A lot of sim work?
Sim work, testing on track, training off track with my personal trainer, and for preparing also for the races to have enough strong and power, also to keep 25 minutes or 20 minutes to race, and yeah.
So in your second ever single-seater race weekend, you're on the front row of the grid at Silverstone. That's a pretty big deal. How are you going to be feeling when you're sat there waiting for the lights to go out?
Quite good. I tried to get first place, but let's see how the race will go, how the pace will be, and yeah.
So we don't know anything about you yet. Who's your racing hero? Who made you want to get into motorsport?
Sebastian Vettel, because he's German, 4th-time world champion, yeah.
And I imagine when you first started watching F1, it might have been when he was winning all of his championships.
Yeah, also with Ferrari. Yeah, I saw him and always a big fan of him, his personality and his driving style.
Yeah, he's certainly a cool guy and a very successful guy as well. What do you hope to achieve then in the world of motorsport?
I will try to get to F1 and also want to win a world championship or also titles, but let's see what the future is open for me.
Maybe you can try and win 5 and you can beat Sebastian Vettel with 5 world championships. Who have you got with you then? Who travels with you to support you while you're at these race weekends?
My personal trainer Ryan and my dad Frank Welling. He's always with me, and yeah.
Okay, well I'm sure they'll be there should you manage to get a podium here in your first race in GB4. We look forward to chatting to you more as the season goes on, and we'll wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Now, while we don't have a Lando stand here at Silverstone this weekend, it's okay. We've got a Maserati party with Max Maserati. Joins me now. You've had some incredible races around this track. You've been on a podium. I think you were telling me there, all but one race.
Yeah, when we raced in GB4, 5 out of 6, so.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. You've put a car in pole position here at Silverstone. Jack Taylor, who we're going to hear from in a little while at Fortec, he's put the car in pole position today ahead of Ian, which is an incredible result for a driver racing his second weekend at F4 level. What does it take to get a good lap in here at Silverstone?
It's really tough. The circuit is so long round here. You know, it's a 2-minute 1 lap time. So, and there's such fast and flowing corners and massive straights. So it's really easy to lose time and to, shed time over the course of the lap. So it's a balance of, obviously perfection, but just carrying that momentum, because if you lose a little time through the exit of your previous lap, for example, your next big braking zone isn't until you get to Stowe. So that whole first sector is just momentum that you carried from your previous lap. So it's such an amazing, fast-flowing circuit, and when you get the first sector right, you feel like a rock star.
Well, look, you've done incredibly well. We're going to talk more about Max before this race, but of course you're not the only driver that's done well here. There's a guy called Kevin Magnussen. He's raced here before, hasn't he? He's done pretty well in F1, and his half-brother Luca Magnussen is back after missing out at Snetterton, and I caught up with him earlier to check he was all right after having appendix surgery. Luca, welcome back to the GB4 Paddock. You missed the last rounds. How are you feeling? You much better now?
Yeah, I'm ready, fully recovered, and fit to fight, so I'll do everything I can.
We see on the car, obviously, you have Beef Lover. Have you been indulging in some beef to help you get back to full fitness?
Yeah, I have. It's really good beef. It's the best if I have to, but yeah, it's good.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're back here at Silverstone. How are you feeling ahead of this weekend? Qualifying, I think you're starting 13th for this first race?
Yeah, there was some chaos in quali, but I have pace for more, so yeah, everything can happen in the races.
How have you been preparing for Silverstone? Because it is an iconic circuit. Is there added pressure knowing that you're racing at the home of motorsports here in the UK?
Not really, not more than at any other circuit. I still have to perform my best, but yeah, for preparation, I talked a lot with my brother Kevin. Yeah, he taught me some few tips and tricks.
All right. And do you want to tell me any of those, or are they all secret?
They're secret.
Okay, that makes sense. So, when you are starting where you're starting on the grid, what's your kind of minimal achievement you want to get from the weekend? How many places, or maybe what kind of finish is the lowest expectation for you?
We hope for top 5, hopefully a podium, but we'll do everything we can to achieve that.
But look, you seem very confident. We're going to let you continue getting ready for the race, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
If you remember, Max, Carlos Sainz had his appendix out, missed the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, came back the next race, won in Australia. So Luca Magnussen could be on for a race win if appendix surgery means anything in racing. Who knows? Quickly before we hear from the pole sitter, how are your boys getting on?
Yeah, they're doing all right.
And remind people watching who they are. Sorry.
Yeah, so I coach for Graham Bronson Racing.
We'll get it in.
You can see it here. There you are. You know, great team, really great team. Callum's in his second year, and Mayer actually missed a round. You know, he missed Snetterton, and he's back here for this round. Yeah, obviously and it was a long break as well before that anyway. So he's done really well to sort of come back, get into the groove straight away. Unfortunately, didn't nail qualifying there, so we're starting in the back. But definitely 2 to watch out for, because their pace, they'll come through in all these 3 races. So they'll be good to watch for these.
I'm sure you'll be giving them great advice as well, Max.
Yeah, obviously.
It goes without saying. Right, we'll catch up with you in a little bit, Max. Thank you very much. Let's hear then from our pole sitter, Jack Taylor with Forte. You can stay in the shot, Max. It's fine. He's still here. Well, congratulations. Pole position in the first 2 races out of 3 this weekend. Your best qualifying results so far. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Obviously, after a tricky weekend at Snetterton, it's good to come back and get pole position. Yeah.
You say tricky. You finished the weekend with your best result so far in GB4, which is 2nd place. Why was it tricky for you? Just put it into words for people who weren't watching.
Well, the whole weekend I was basically struggling, but obviously started pole for the reverse grid. But I did lose out on 1 position, but I still finished 2nd, so it's not all bad. But yeah, it was still a tricky weekking.
So when you're sat on pole position at Silverstone, which, think about how many drivers have actually sat in a pole position race at Silverstone. It's not a big list at all. You've got a 15-year-old rookie racing his 2nd ever weekend in Arjen Kraling alongside you. What's your thoughts going into that first corner?
The first corner, I'll just try and get a good launch basically and stay ahead. It's not, it's not like a big braking zone or anything. It's basically almost flat when you take off from the line. So yeah, I'll basically just try and get a good launch and stay ahead.
Obviously, this is an entry-level single-seater championship. However, you've got more experience than the aforementioned German driver who's alongside you. Do you ever worry that the lack of experience means that there's more likelihood for him to maybe make a mistake, which makes you have to react and potentially lose places or clash?
Yeah, maybe. I've been quite unlucky with some race starts like earlier in the year in Donington. So yeah, I think I've gotten better at avoiding them. So yeah, if I just get a good launch, I think I'll be all right. Yeah, and I'll just try and stay away. Yeah.
Given your qualifying position in these first 2 races, what are you hoping to come away from this weekend with, maybe in terms of points or results?
Obviously, I'll try and convert the 2 poles to wins, but yeah, basically just convert them to wins. Yeah. Okay,
and since we last saw you, what have you been doing? What have you been playing around with, maybe away from the track?
Not much really. My mum is here this is her first time ever watching me race a car or drive a car at all, so she's very excited. So yeah, I'm glad I can get pole position for her first race weekend here.
Is she a little bit worried as well? I know racing parents are always a little bit worried when their kids are out there.
No, she's not worried at all. She's very good. She's very happy. Yeah.
And whereabouts does she come from? Obviously from back home in Australia, but whereabouts?
Tasmania. She's come from Launceston, Tasmania. Yep.
Nice. Well, shout out to everyone watching back home, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And here we see the number 50 pole-sitting car of Jack Taylor, the Australian. Going to be looking forward to getting off the line well, hopefully. Absolutely incredible achievement from Arjen that we heard from earlier. Arjen Kraling, the German driver, racing his 2nd weekend in an F4 GB4 level championship, and he's on the front row of the grid. I mean, super impressive from him, and he's going to be looking for a good start as well. And obviously, we're not going to hassle him too much because it's all quite new to him, but Superb from him, number 62 if you're looking out for Iron in the blue Douglas Motorsports car. Let's see who else we can find on the grid. We can just see Jack Taylor actually just getting ready here, putting on everything he needs there to make sure he's ready for this race. All of the burn-proof material balaclavas. I'm sure there's a proper name for that, but we'll get there. And then they will get into the car and settle themselves down, actually, because sometimes it takes a little while just to get into the zone. They'll have done their warm-ups. You often see drivers doing their tennis ball warm-ups or their skipping rope warm-ups. Different drivers like different things. A similarity here we've noticed with Jack Taylor to Lewis Hamilton in that he's got fluorescent yellow gloves. Lewis very well known for his gloves. They stand out. When they were together at Mercedes, him and George Russell, you could tell them apart really easily when they're going around Silverstone, because George Russell has very light blue tones and everything, and Lewis had his very famous fluorescent yellow gloves. But there we go. Hopefully there are more similarities to Jack Taylor and Lewis Hamilton than just gloves. Anyway, let's take a look at Silverstone and remind ourselves of where we're racing here.
Corners like the Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel section, head down into Stowe, and of course that Vale Club loop out onto the Hamilton Straight before we head through Abbey, then Farm and into the Village loop section, out through Aintree, and of course onto the Wellington Straight where we head into Brooklands and then Luffield to complete the lap here on the national side. It is a long circuit, it is a tricky circuit over the 18 corners, but of course all of those turns are definitely overtaking opportunities here in GB4. Very flat circuit in the run around the 3.6 miles, of course 5.9 kilometres around the British Grand Prix venue. Of course, that is a look at the Silverstone circuit. Let's ride on board then around the Silverstone circuit with Thomas Ingram Hill for the Fortec team on a weekend where he's looked much faster than even rounds in the prior. Of course, through Copse, the opening corner, down into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, such an iconic part of the world of motorsport as they go through the left, then the right and left again, back out onto the Hangar Straight. Now in GB3, the DRS will be open. In GB4, absolutely none of that. They'll be using the slipstream and as much racecraft as they can possibly muster on the run up the hill into Stowe. Into this right-hander, blind as you turn your way into the corner, get to the apex and then let the car wash out towards the left-hand side and the curb, dropping down the hill on the exit. A slight rise and back up as they head into Vale and Club, through the double right-hander, through Club and then out onto the Hamilton Straight, scrambling for grip as they wrestle it over the curbs on the left-hand side. Onto the Hamilton Straight, and then the only thing you can think about here is that run through Abbey. Incredibly fast, keep it pinned as you go into the right-hander. Slight rise up as you go into the left at Farm, and then deep onto the brakes into Village, arguably one of the best overtaking opportunities on this circuit. Village, though, leads straight into the tight left-hander here at the loop as they'll get that throttle down. Must be clean here for the run all the way down towards Brooklands. They go through Aintree here, the left-hander, and then out onto what is effectively the penultimate straight on the circuit, the Wellington Straight, and the run down into Brooklands. BRDC Clubhouse on the right-hand side. Use a lot of that curb on the right-hand side. Also, as you flick it into the left-hander, you can make an overtake inside and outside as you go through Brooklands, then into Luffield, out a little bit wider so you can straighten out the exit, put the throttle down, and then it's the flat run through Woodcote and across the line to finish a lap here at the Silverstone circuit.
Thank you very much. Beautifully described there, Lewis. And we're looking now at the number 51 Elite Motorsports car of Alex Gattulis. I mentioned him earlier on. He was the guy that won the first race here when we were here at Silverstone the first time around. Can he repeat that from fourth on the grid? It's going to be exciting to see what the Greek driver can do. It's kind of, I mean, not out of the question that you can win here from fourth place, but with Jack Taylor absolutely storming to that pole position, you think he'll be very strong as well. Let's move our way back. We've got Leon Wilson here starting P3. And then we come over to Tom Ingram Hill. We're going to maybe sort of chat to someone related to, I don't know actually, maybe I don't know. We've got Eddie Ives here chatting with Ollie Dutton. Richard Dutton's around as well. Tom Ingram Hill starting here, where would I say, from fifth place on the grid. That makes sense, yeah. So a good chance for him as well. Let's see if they'll talk to us. Can I interject really quickly? You dominated here last time around, Eddie Ives from Elite Motorsport. You dominated here last time, winning both the first two races. You're on the cusp of 500 points as well. Great place to be.
Yeah, I think so. Struggling a little bit more this morning with Ari and Isaac not having as good a quality as I think we should have. But yeah, no, I'm sure we'll move forward and looking forward to having some.
Do you think Alex can? Sorry, I cut you off there completely. Do you think Alex can repeat his feat of winning this first race of the weekend again?
I think we've got a good shot. Yeah, I think we've got a good chance. But look, everyone else seems to have upped their game a bit. So yeah, competition's super tight, so you never know.
And finally, what are you and Ollie Dutton from Fortec talking about? Secrets?
No, not at all. Just the future GB3, GB4, trying to kind of work together to make both championships as good as we can. And yeah, that's all.
Well, just make sure your driver doesn't take his driver off at any point with him starting on pole.
Can't promise that.
No, good. I like the rivals. Thank you very much, Eddie. I love that there's rivalry, but there's also a lot of friends here on the grid, and they want to better themselves for the championship. We're going to take a little walk here. We've got Dayton Coulthard as well. Dayton's had his moments this year, starting from PU5 on the grid, so that's pretty good. So another driver racing with, of course, Douglas Motorsports. We can see Whisper on the side there. If you know anything about them, you'll probably see the family link there with Dayton Coulthard, the Scottish driver. You can imagine that talent runs in his family. We've got Leandro Juncos as we move our way back a little bit here. Obviously, again, some moments here from the South American driver. Very aggressive driving style. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in this race. Could be a potential for some places to be made up. And of course, Isaac Phelps is alongside him here on the right in the Elite Motorsports car. Isaac, as Eddie was kind of saying there, maybe not qualifying as well as he would have hoped, but Isaac has certainly shown some moments of brilliance so far this season, so we'll see what he can do. Ari Banso, his teammate, is just behind as well, so a lot of elite at the front end of this grid, which is, if you're a team in any Motorsports Championship, that's where you want to be, especially with 3 drivers. As we see Ari Banso, the Indian driver, just on the grid here, just chilling. And there's plenty of people on this grid. I think we're going to have a little bit longer actually to talk on this grid. So let's move ourselves forward. I want to speak to a driver coach, and I can see a couple of driver coaches. So if we move our way back towards the front of the grid, we're going to chat to Joseph Loke. Because Joseph Loke, if you've watched any of GB3, you'll know that he's raced around here a lot. He's been incredibly successful. He's gone on to race in FIA F3. He's currently racing a McLaren. What is it you're racing? What's the car?
McLaren 720 Evo.
And how's that going for you?
Very well, thank you.
I know alongside your racing career, you're also driver coaching. Just let us know who you're driver coaching. I mean, it's pretty obvious because you've got a Fortec top on.
Yeah, well, I'm basically overall with Fortec. Tom has brought in a driver coach of his own, so I'm mainly working with Luca and Jack. So yeah, it's going really well. Obviously, Jack on pole. Luca had a bit of a scrappy session in quali. He just didn't really find a rhythm, let's say. But I think overall he's got the pace, and I think he can push through, and obviously we'll see what Jack can do from pole.
What kind of things do you advise your driver when they're starting on pole position? Because sometimes that can overwhelm a young driver.
It can, and I think it has for Jack a little bit at times. Obviously, we've started at the front a couple of times this year, Snetterton, of course, last weekend. I think it's just remembering to keep your head is a big part of it. Like, it's very easy to overthink it and start trying to become a hero on lap 1, and you don't really need to. You just got to get off the line and then just start braking at your correct markers, and that's the big one. So all I've said to Jack is just get off the line and then just drive quicker than everyone else, and then it should be all right.
It's quite simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He did it in quali, so why not do it in the race?
I saw someone give me some business advice recently. It was like a TikTok, and it was like, do you think we should just try and make some more money? And it was like, it's a similar thing to driving, right?
Exactly. I mean, I've been trying to do that for a little bit. It's not really working. So
No.
maybe you could find the guy and tell me.
Yeah, it's Rory Sutherland. He's like a marketing expert. It was a good story. And finally, obviously, from you, we've seen you do some pretty impressive things around this circuit. I mean, what's been your favourite memory at Silverstone?
Oh, GB3 was cool here. First Silverstone round. Yeah, I obviously won 2 races here. The second race was cool. Started P10, and then just in the wet dry, it was. To be honest, I just got it right. Like, sounds a bit egotistical, but I just did. It was just a good race, and we'll always remember that. And plus, I won the award here, Young Driver of the Year award. So.
And then you got to drive a Formula 1 car here.
Oh yeah, that little thing.
I mean, that's what I was alluding to, but I mean.
Was it actually?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, there you go then. Yes, that was okay. That's the coolest moment.
And can you describe for people who are never going to drive a Formula 1 car what it's like to drive a Formula 1 car around here? I know it's hard to put into words.
Well, it's not possible. It's just incredible. Like, everything you don't think is possible in that thing. So, yeah, when I drove it was like bending my mind. I was going crazy inside the car, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
And finally, do driver coaches have any rivalries? I don't know if I'm trying to create extra drama here, but you and Mike Epps, you know, is there a rivalry? Who has the best driver? Who can teach the driver the most?
It's a friendly rivalry, let's say. No, I mean, of course, it's good to have a little rivalry because it pushes us to obviously work with the driver. Not that I wouldn't give 100% already, but obviously me and Mike worked for 3 years before that, so you know, Tom and Jack have been so close all weekend. So yeah, I did rub it in his face.
I'm sure you're all friends. If Eddie Ives and Ollie Dutton can be friends of two opposing teams, then you can be friends with Mike Epps. Thank you very much, Joe. I will hopefully catch up with Joseph Loke a little bit later in the weekend. But let's hear from a driver racing for the second weekend in the GB4 Championship, Dudley Ruddock. Good to see you back here at Silverstone for your second ever GB4 weekend, also your second ever single-seater weekend. Reflecting on Snetterton, how did you feel that weekend went? Because I imagine it's a lot to get your head around in a very busy weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there's a lot to learn from it. Obviously, it being my first time, had a lot to take away from it. I was happy with the result. Qualifying was a bit of a struggle, but once I got into the races and there were a few DNFs and that, I was working my way through the grid. So yeah, I was pretty happy with Snet.
What surprised you the most about finally being in the car in a racing situation versus testing?
I'd say the slipstream. Especially when through corners, the effect it has on the front end. So you doesn't want to turn. So you're yanking the wheel left and right to get the car in, where normally you just barely turn it. So yeah, it's I'd say that's probably the big shock for me.
What's achievable here at Silverstone this weekend then? Because I guess you just want to build maybe on what happened at Snetterton, and maybe now you know these things that you've learned during the races there, you can prepare for them better.
Yeah, I think I definitely want to be moving forward with my progression. I don't want to be staying in the same place and finishing in the same place like much this season. But I normally take it how it goes, and then as long as I'm learning from it, then I can't do much else from there. So.
This track's pretty iconic in the world of motorsport. How much have you driven this on a game or a sim before? Because it must be pretty special to actually get out there and race on the real thing.
Countless times, to be honest. Yeah, no, I think when I was here on the Friday, I was going down one of the straights, and I was just like, took a moment to myself. I was like, I'm actually just driving around Silverstone right now. It's really weird, but no, yeah, it's probably one of my, it's up there with my best moments.
Imagine your mates must think it's pretty cool as well that, you know, you're just chilling out racing at Silverstone. If they see your location on Find My Friends or anything like that, it's like, oh, it's currently going around one of the most iconic racetracks in the world.
Yeah, no, I had a couple of them come down the other day, and it was, yeah, we were both just looking back like, God, we were at like some of the roughest go-karting tracks together, and now we're here in a span of a year. So yeah, we were all a bit like shocked really of where we are.
I know that you've done a bit of racing at Rye House. I've been there a few times, not in any way competitive. I'm absolutely useless. But when it comes to making the jump up from karting into GB4, what are the big surprises and what are the big differences?
I'd say grip levels and how the car reacts to it. I say it's a lot more sensitive in these cars. But usually in karting, you'd whack on a new set and you'll just be putting speed through all the corners. And it will handle it, but with these you have to be a lot more methodical with it. Otherwise, you won't get the pace out of the new slicks.
And finally, what does success look like for you this weekend? How do you want to end the weekend?
Definitely want to finish a good midfield position. I'd say P15 would be my goal. Anything more, well, I'll be happy for.
Okay, well, we'll look out for you this weekend. Best of luck, and we'll hope you achieve everything you want to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Dudley Ruddock there, starting towards the back of the grid, but he'll be looking to make up some places. I think when you step up to this kind of car, I mean, it's a big jump, and obviously it takes a little while to get used to it, but I think progress is what he's hoping to make, having made his debut at Snetterton, and I'm sure he'll see great progress here at Silverstone this weekend. Very strange, I imagine, for a young driver to suddenly be driving at Silverstone, having probably driven this on all kinds of computer games and sims over the years. So yeah, huge achievement from him to get on the grid, and also we talk about Jack Taylor, you know, huge achievement to him, to come over from Australia, from Tasmania, to be here and like on the pole position at Silverstone. I mean, imagine how far away that is from home. It's an incredible achievement, and I'm always fascinated by the families that surround drivers, and we're not going to him straight away because he might run away, but let's go and speak to Jack's dad, see if he wants to talk to us, because he's always a laugh. Mr. Taylor, I'm sorry.
Hello.
You've got to talk
Okay.
to me just because we're waiting for the cars to go out here.
Sure.
I was just saying what a huge achievement it is to travel across the other side of the world and be in such a position to start a race at Silverstone on pole position.
Oh, it feels great to be back here again. And after all that hard work we've done for 18 months, to be on pole. I mean, we've been close so many times, and had some hits and misses and things like that. So it's great. Yeah, we feel like we've come a long way, and it's good. Yeah, we're happy.
What kind of encouragement have you given him? Because sometimes we were just saying that pole position can be a bit overwhelming for a young kid.
Yeah, look, we just give him a good feed and look after him and make sure tick all the boxes. But we're as ready as we can be. So we just got to give it our best, and hopefully he can just deliver today.
I believe it was steak last time we talked about was the good feed. Have you found any more good steaks around here?
We found plenty of steaks, but last night we didn't have steak. We had pasta last night. So hopefully, look, it might change things up a bit. Who knows?
Hey, he's carbing up for a big weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for chatting. It sounds like the car's about to go out, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon. We're going to probably stand out of the way of the cars because we don't want to get hit by them. They're firing up the engines now. As we can see, we've got all the sort of people around the cars, everyone associated with the team, making sure they're here. You'll often see the tyres kept ready and waiting in case, for example, it suddenly started raining heavily. You want to change to the wet tyres, but for now, they're all on slicks and they're all ready to go. So for the first time here at Silverstone this weekend, it looks like we're ready to go racing.
It's time to return to Silverstone then, and the home of British motorsport for round 13 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. We've had great racing earlier on in the year and in the years past, and I'm sure that is going to continue here. It's a lovely day for racing, and we'll get to it. Let's show you the circuit we will be taking to, one of the most iconic in the world of motorsport. That run through Stowe, Magus, Beckett and Chapel, and of course the sprint down the Hanger Straight into Stowe. Vale through Club onto the Hamilton Straight, Abbey Farm, Village, the Loop and Aintree onto the Wellington Straight, through Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcote and back onto the start-finish straight. 18 turns of action, very little in terms of elevation and plenty in terms of distance. We have 18 minutes of racing ahead of us in what is going to be a very exciting day. It's myself, Lewis McGlade. Max Maserati's worked his way up from being part presenter to being part commentator. Hello, welcome. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, this is going to be a great race. Silverstone always puts on a show in GB4. We always talk about dirty air with race cars, especially single-seaters with the wings on them, but the toe is so much more stronger than any kind of dirty air you're going to produce with a GB4 car, and that's why we always have such great racing. So this is going to be exciting. Very mixed grid compared to when we were last here.
Yeah, very much so. It's one where obviously Elite earlier on the season looked so strong. Now it's a bit more open. I mean, where are we kind of expecting those big overtakes? Because there's quite a few places you can do it around here.
Yeah, so lap 1 into Stowe, I'm definitely going to be expecting to see some moves there because everyone will be so bunched up, big hole driven from the front guys. The chicanes, you can be late on the brake. Vale, Brooklands, and pretty much every big braking zone here is an opportunity to do something, especially because there's such a big grid now in GB4, which is amazing, and it means that we have some real pack racing that takes place.
It is once again a joint record largest grid that we've had in GB4. 25 cars to take to action, and ahead of those a driver in his second year. Pole position for the very first time though. What does Jack Taylor have to do to beat out the likes of Arjen Krelling, who's in his first ever race in GB4?
Well, Jack has the benefit of experience, and he's done a really good job to put it on pole today. He basically just needs to get a good start and then just not look in his mirrors. He just needs to shoot off and go and not worry about it. Hopefully, I haven't seen Arjen race before. As you say, it's his first race in GB4, so I don't know what he's going to be like, but this could be, if it's his first time racing around Silverstone, I could be wrong. But he might get into, you know, a bit of a race with Wilson again, who is experienced around here. Catullus is right there, and hopefully, I mean, what Jack will be hoping for is if they can battle behind him, it means he can break the toe, and he doesn't have to worry about that.
One thing I am noticing there on Arjen Kraling's Douglas Motorsports car, the light blue one that will be starting from second position, left side new tyres on his car. So brand new, not scrubbed. I don't know if anyone else would have scrubbed them in qualifying or whatever, but regardless, it is definitely 2 brand new tyres. Let's look at the starting grid though for the first race of the weekend. Jack Taylor on his first pole position in GB4 will be starting alongside Arjen Kraling on debut in the championship. Leon Wilson will be starting from third. It's his best qualifying this season, alongside Alexandros Catullus searching for a victory. Dayton Coulthard will start alongside Thomas Ingram Hill, who was topping some of the practices on Thursday and Friday, looking like he's got a lot of speed coming into this weekend. Isaac Phelps looking to battle for the championship, and this could be a big weekend for him to capitalise on. Leandro Juncos had a jump start back in Snetterton, desperate not to repeat that one. 9th and 10th position, we'll see Ari Bansal, who was so fast a few weeks ago back at Snetterton, who was starting alongside Callum Baxter in 10th place. I had that as Standia, but Enzo Holman will be starting from 11th, with Jason Pribble starting from 12th position. As we work our way down the field, it was Luca Magnussen who will be starting from 18th, Josh McLean who will be starting from 14th position for the Pace Performance team. Alex O'Grady will from 15th alongside Ava Dobbs. A bit of a disappointing qualifying session for the Irishman, down in just 15th spot. He's got some good speed, but there's the big disappointment. Dan Ginsharp, just 17th position. He'll be starting alongside Callum Baxter for Graham Brunton Racing. Maya Dianarine back there for Graham Brunton Racing as well. Megan Bruce will be starting alongside, of course, Dianarine on a return to the championship. Dudley Ruddock on his second weekend, along with Lily Watkins starting from 22nd position. Still 2 more rows left to go. It's Holly Mile who'll be starting from 23rd position alongside Flame Auricula. And the final row of the grid, Caitlin McDaniel starting from 25th position. Interesting grid, a lot to talk about. Big major one there. Dan Ginchard, 17th position.
Yeah, but still quite impressive. You know, although it might not sound like on paper, I believe he had there was like a wiring issue. So nothing the team Hill Speed can do, nothing the driver can do. So I think he basically only had 1 flying lap, but the tyres weren't even up to temperature. You know, and he's still 17th. He's going to be fast. You know, we've seen before, Hill Speed always know how to set a car up around here. You know, Juncos is well up there and will be able to help out. And I think, you know, with that mix-up, Dan can really show what he can do today in terms of making up places. And we've got a car, Lily Watkins. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, that's gutting.
That doesn't seem like it's going to be one where that... maybe it's easy for me to say. It doesn't seem like a place we'd have driver error. That's on the Hamilton Straight, and the reason I said it is because normally you'd see if it's a driver error, it's inside, outside of a corner, something like that. That is on a straight pulled to one side. That feels more, from my point of view, that maybe there was some technical gremlin or something wrong with the car. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I think we get a replay here. She's going slow anyway. Look, she's well away from where the pack is, so she has got a problem. And yeah, she pulls off. She's seen where the orange marker is, I think, because that's what we basically tell people to go to, because that's where the marshals are. They'll be able to push her back, hopefully. So this won't be a delayed start.
Yeah, hopefully they will be able to.
There we go. Start.
There we go. We'll classify it as commentators, guys. What that delayed start means, they'll remain stationary on the grid. They will do another formation lap after this, and the race time will go from 18 minutes down to, I believe, 15 minutes for this. So we will effectively lose a lap of racing. Could make things a little bit easy, though, for the likes of Jack Taylor from the front.
Actually, it'll probably make things a bit worse, because this is going to help the people who have gone new tyres for this race, such as Arjun in second, where it would probably take him at least half a lap to a lap to get the tyre in, compared to the guys who are on scrubs who'll just be able to go. You've now got a whole nother lap to prepare. So this is going to really play into the guys' hands who started on the news. It's just going to give them more prep time, basically, to be able to get on it from the start.
Now, you say there, of course, you know, when we talk of scrubbed sets, new sets, of course, over a weekend here in GB4, you get 1.5 sets, so 6 tyres across the weekend. But what's the difference between a scrubbed and a new? Why is one potentially better than the other in certain specific scenarios?
So a new tyre, you'll be able to get a better peak out of it, in short. So your optimum, your best lap time will be better. A scrub tyre, because it's already had the surface go away, it's already done one heat cycle. the initial lap, that initial feeling of grip you'll get will be slightly there quicker, but then you will not be able to reach the same peak that a new tyre will give you. And the reason why you'll see them putting on the left side of the car, so in GB4 we have an interesting strategy where you get 1.5 sets for the whole weekend. So you'll put it on the left side of the car because most circuits are clockwise, they're going to have more right-handers, so you're using that side of the car more.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that the set and a half, so the 6 tyres over a weekend, that has to take you through qualifying and 3 18-minute races. Of course, it's far too early to be talking about tyre wear and stuff on the weekend, but it is one of those ones where I feel that you will know this from having racing it. Surely you have a strategy in place even before you've turned a lap in qualifying as to how you want to use those tyres.
Yeah, so I would have thought, most people are, the pole sitter is, they're planning to use their new tyres for tomorrow because, as you said, you want to maximise all 3 races. So you'd probably wait till tomorrow to use it. However, all weekend Silverstone's been, is it going to be dry, is it going to be wet? So some people have obviously thought tomorrow could be wet, so let's gamble and put the dry tyres on today, try and maximise what we're doing today. And also it could depend where you qualify, because of the qualifying, the way it works, you have 15 minutes. If you're going to start second, for example, today, but you're going to start 6th tomorrow, you might as well use the new tyre today, get the most out of it, try and get the best result you can, and then manage tomorrow and the last race tomorrow. So it depends where you qualify a little bit, but then also what the weather's going to do.
Exactly, and the weather at the moment, just having a little look, whilst it is absolutely fine now, overcast and maybe a little bit chillier than you'd expect for the start of August and what is really the summer. It looks like it might rain tomorrow. I actually remember this from, I think it was 2 years ago. It was the end of August. I was at Donington Park. It was absolutely freezing. End of August. Then 2 weeks later, we were at Brands Hatch, GB3, GB4 British GT weekend. In September, it was absolutely roasting. And that is British weather. It can change on a dime. So we'll have to wait and see what tomorrow's like.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that Brands weekend. It was so hot and really unexpected because it was so late in the year. There's like lilies out the car, so interesting. I would have thought they would have just pushed it maybe behind the barrier, but they're waiting for the recovery.
Yeah, I wonder. So what? How could it be stuck here where they're unable to push it? Because normally the marshals here, they obviously they're here for the safety of everyone, but they also want to be as fast and efficient as possible. So if they could push it behind the barrier right now, I'm sure they would have done. So what could be going on there that might not allow them to do so?
If it could be stuck in gear, it could probably be a gearbox thing. Maybe that's why she was going slowly, because she couldn't get it out of first or second gear. So then she's just pulled over, and then you wouldn't be able to roll it.
Yeah. And if you've ever tried pushing a car when it's in gear, good luck. That is a no. So yeah, get the recovery vehicle out there, which in a sense could effectively help Lily Watkins there in a degree. Obviously, you're not going to be ready for this race, but it means they can get that car potentially back to the pit lane, to the paddock, and potentially repaired and such. Obviously, prime time for all the mechanics to get out there, all the social medias to get out there. Jack Hodges there, obviously, just straight up there trying to get some good footage for us. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a nightmare for the guys, especially like someone like Jack, who's starting on pole. You really just want to get going. You're so hyped up, you've got all the adrenaline, you just want to start racing. You do the warm-up lap, you're in the zone, and then you're sitting there. There's a delay, you'll be like, okay, and then this delay seems to be taking a bit long, so you're just sitting there. There's too many thoughts going on. You just want to start the race and get going.
And there's no, there is no pit to car radio in GB4, but there is radio from race control, is there not? So they can get some message from that. Would race control be telling them, by the way, this delay is going to be extended, or is that more of like...
No, I think they do. I believe race control does let the guys know, so they do have knowledge of what's going on. They would have definitely been on to say about there's a delay, and then they would probably be notifying them 5 minutes till we're probably going to be going, just to keep the communication lines open. And it won't be long now, as we can see, they're lifting the car up.
It's kind of one of those ones where communication is key, especially if you're sat in the car. Obviously, those radios that were said about from race control to the cars, that is new for this year.
They're not going to make her walk, are they?
Yeah, off you go.
That's a long walk from there.
It's you've there you go. Obviously, we're going to get the additional green flag. That's why the race has been reduced to 16 minutes. So unfortunately, Lily Watkins in racing gear as well, off for a trudge back to pit lane. And you're absolutely right. As someone who has walked around Silverstone a fair few times, that's a good 15-20 minutes from there.
Yeah. Oh, see the great view of the escapades there. On top of that bar, you get an amazing view of the circuit. You can really see a lot through Max and Beckett and all over.
And you can see a great view of that by opening up Max Maserati's social media. He posted that on Instagram last night. I saw that.
But best place, if you're a coach, get up there.
100%.
You can see so much.
100%. You can see that commitment going through Maggotts, Beckett and Chapel, of which you can't really see from anywhere else. And I would assume, as much as it's a part of the circuit which is so fast, you're flat through quite a lot of it, and you can lose so much in that part of the track, right?
Yeah, so easy to. It's all about carrying as much momentum as possible, keeping the car as flat as possible. And that exit is so crucial because you're then carrying that speed up to Stowe, which is a huge overtaking opportunity. So it can be difficult to follow when you're behind another car, but if you can get it right, I say this first lap where everyone's going to be so bunched up together, it's going to be incredible to watch them all on the run up to Chapel. And standing there watching a GB4 car, they are really fast going through that sector of the circuit, and it's really great to watch.
Well, it seems that's the fastest that Lily Watkins' car has gone on this formation lap. As to why she pulled over to one side, clearly some technical problem with the car. Hopefully it'll be fixed and sorted for tomorrow's opening race. Does mean, though, the 24 cars left on the grid will get the 3-minute board, so their final preparations can once again begin. They will do another formation lap, and we will have 16 minutes of racing. This is where you start getting into that mindset. This is where you start building it up, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just focus on yourself now. Make sure you get the heat back into the tyre again. Work extremely hard. It's one of those things where when you're really good at getting heat in the tyre, it's really frustrating having a second warm-up lap because it's giving the people that maybe that isn't their strong suit, you're giving them another lap to do it. So you're like, that's that advantage gone. Yeah. But you just got to focus on yourself. So all the guys will be, guys and girls up there will now really be focusing on loading up their tyres, getting the heat back in for this really crucial start here.
What it does mean, though, is for drivers like Dan Ginchard, who'll be starting from 17th position, we've alluded to him a few times, of course, the championship leader. He leads the championship over Ari Bansal by 36 points. Ginchard on 252, Ari Bansal on 216, Isaac Phelps on 206. For Bansal, for Phelps, for Catulus, who's on 196, so he's 56 points off in the championship. And, of course, Catulus will be starting from 4th position for those elite motorsports drivers to go and take on the Drivers' Championship. This is a critical round. And also, Ginchard has 2 minutes less, a lap less now to work up in this race.
Yeah, which will be extremely frustrating for him, but he can do it. He can do it. He knows he can do it. He knows what he can do. So for him, it's just getting on with it, and that is what he'll do.
I remember he didn't qualify particularly well around here the last time we were here, did Ginchard. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't 17th position. I say it was 8th and 8th. It wasn't that bad.
And I think he's still got fastest lap and a win by the end of the weekend, if I'm right.
He definitely won the final race.
Yeah.
Convincingly as well.
Yeah, exactly. So he knows he's got pace around here. He's just got to do what he knows he can do.
Exactly. So the grid is cleared. The drivers are prepared. The green flag's out in the background, and the second formation lap will once again begin as everyone will prepare themselves mentally around yet another lap of Silverstone before we'll get 16 minutes of racing. This is where you've got to start geeing yourself up, getting yourself back into that mental position. You've got a whole lap to put yourself back in that mindset. I get the feeling that some drivers click with that a lot better than others. Some drivers are very quick at being like, right, okay, now it's time to go racing. Let's jump back into it. Spare a little bit of a thought for Arjen Kraling, who obviously starting from 2nd position. He raced in British F4 last week at Zandvoort. This is his 2nd weekend of racing. So effectively, in open wheel cars, this is his 4th ever race. There's been a delay on it. There's been all this, that, and the other. What is that going to do for a proper rookie's mentality?
Well, I think he can take solace in the fact that he knows he's got pace.
You know, he knows he's got pace, he's got new tyres on, and this could, you know, be very much a win for him here. At worst, you know, like a podium for sure. So he knows he's got the pace to do it. He's been quick all weekend, you know, over Thursday and Friday. As you say, he's actually just come off the back of a race weekend, and things as you say, like switching yourself on, that comes from experience. And because he's come from one race weekend straight into another, there's no rust to shake off. He's already done 3 race starts only a week ago, so that will all come into play, and that I think that will help him. I think he could surprise people here by probably being very level-headed, doing the start. The start's going to be whatever the start's going to be. You can't ever plan it. You know, you can't plan having a bad start or a good start. Just whatever happens off the line, you've then just got to put all the experience, all the tools that you've learned, all the racecraft you learned from karting before here, and then just do the right thing in the moment.
I remember talking to a few teams where they'd all start around, like kind of what we had with Elite Motorsports when they all start around each other and thinking of what tactical gameplay are they going to be having on the race start. And you're absolutely right. You can't have one. You just need to start the race. If you start better than the person on pole position, brilliant. If you don't, okay. Deal with it when you get into the first corner, and then you can start that plan, especially around here, because realistically, you've got that first turn at Copse, but it's that run. I get the feeling that the reset button is hit when you leave Chapel, when you go out of the Hangar Straight. Yeah,
very much so, because you can have a good start, and then you're boxed in on the inside at Copse, and then everyone you just passed flies around your outside, and you're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's such a fast-flowing first sector here that a lot of the good work off the line can be undone very quickly. So as you said, the first proper chance where things actually settle out is when you exit out of Chapel and you get the run to Stowe, and then it's like, okay, race on now.
Certainly so. Well, you can see them all heading around. There is the 49 Dan Ginchard Hill Speed, the red and black car that went through. There's your two boys, Callum Baxter, Mayor Dean Areen, Graham Brunton Racing, all getting themselves in position, all preparing for what is going to be a frantic 16 minutes of racing on what is a fairly overcast, fairly cool Silverstone. I wonder if it's actually cooler than it was earlier on in the year when we were here, of course, months ago. It might not be that far away. I think that was quite a chilly weekend, actually.
I'm trying to remember that. The sun was definitely out, though.
Yeah.
So I think it had hot spells.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll check back in the history books for the irrelevant information which we know that you all care about at home. Either way, the right-hand side of your screen, that number 50 will be Jack Taylor. Left-hand side, the 62 light blue Douglas Motorsports car, that's Arjun Kraling. Behind that will be Liam Wilson, Alexandros Katoulis, then Dayton Coulthard, Thomas Ingram Hill, Isaac Phelps, Leandro Juncos, Ari Bansal, Stefan Bastandriev, the top 10. Can Jack Taylor win his first ever race in GB4? He starts from pole position. Can he convert? He started from reverse grid pole a few weeks ago at Snetterton. Couldn't convert then. But we begin our racing down into the first corner. Great start from Ginchard. Great start from Taylor. Side by side sees Liam Wilson and the VRD go straight around the outside for second position, getting past Arjun Kraling as they go now into Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. It was a perfect start from our pole sitter, and Kraling has dropped backwards. He's now into the clutches of Dayton Coulthard as the two Douglas cars go side by side. I think that might have been Kraling who was slightly off the road as they leave the complex there at Chapel and out onto the Hangar Straight. Perfect start from Taylor.
Yeah, that was a really great start from him, and Wilson is right on the back of him in that slipstream. You know, both using the most, and he's gone for a switch. That's quite a very aggressive move there. It's not a big braking zone into Stowe. It'll be interesting to see how they've come out. They left each other room, so they are still first and second. Again, got to be careful of that with the moving, but I think Jack's done very well there to hold it, and it's a Fortec now 1-3, and Ingram Hill, who's had a really, really good start, is now right behind Wilson to try and make that a 1-2, and the elites are trying to carve their way. I think have they dropped back off the line and they're trying to carve their way back through?
I will say, best start of all of this was Thomas Ingram Hill. Has gone from 6th to 3rd and is attacking for the race lead. Side by side in the background sees the number 77 of Junkos going side by side with the bright yellow elites there. It is the 35 of Isaac Phelps, the 46 of Ari Bansal directly behind. In a little bit too deep goes Junkos. Phelps goes to the outside in the 35. They're all fighting for position in the background. It's getting very sketchy. The red and black car there making the progress. That is Dan Ginchard, the championship championship leader, side by side between O'Grady and the number 44 of Mayor Dianarine in the white and blue of Graham Brunton Racing. Nearly one lap complete, but still chaos behind as they head their way up. Luca Magnussen defending from Callum Baxter there with the black and red of Magnussen. Junkos, though, struggling for speed here, it seems.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about with Pack Racing, and this is, I don't actually think he's struggling for speed. I just think because he's went a little bit defensive, it's now broken the toe from the car in front, and then you end up in these like little packs that are starting to form now, and you've just got to try and do the best to make sure you get the exit, get the run on the cars in front. I mean, look, side by side again, this will ruin their momentum coming out the corner, allow the car behind them to get a run, and when there's so many cars so close together, I mean, look at that spread out into Maggotts and Beckett. Yeah. Fantastic racing here.
Absolutely brilliant. First lap, though, complete. First lap of 8. Taylor will lead around this circuit. Wilson, Ingram Hill, of course, Taylor's teammate will sit in 3rd position. Then it's Catoulas, then it's Kraling, who's settled his nerves, now running down in 5th position, but with plenty of space behind. Back to Junkos, Phelps, Bansal, Coulthard, Bostanjev, this fight that we're looking at here. Also, you've got Pribble, who's made up the progress on Bostanjev as well. Bit of a look there as coming to the outside. It is the number 9 there of Megan Bruce on Magnussen.
It's like everyone is side by side here. All kind of like he was just about to have a look. Magnussen, all about getting the exit. You just got to focus so much on the exits here because that's where you can almost make the move easier for yourself. You don't have to take the risk. But big moves on the brakes by a lot of these guys, just all trying to make up their places. But you can't break away, as we can see here. You just get sucked straight back in with the toe.
Yeah, like you say, got to keep in that slipstream. It's so critical around here, and that's why for Leon Wilson it'll be so important for him to close back up. Big move to the inside and very aggressive from the black and red of Ginchard. He was trying to fight his way inside the top 10 whilst forcing a move on Bostanjev. Coulthard not too far behind. He goes for the up and under as they go through Aintree and then out on to the Wellington straight. Battles between the 2 elite cars up ahead as Isaac Phelps will try and keep Ari Bansal at bay. The 2 of those that will be fighting for the championship, I'm sure, all the way to the checkered flag of the season. But brilliant racing between Ginchard and Bostanjev sees Ginchard working his way through into the top 10.
Yeah, and just really great racecraft there from Ginchard. You saw as he was pushing the number 17 of the pace car wide there, just so he could get cut back. He didn't want to risk the outside. He knows he can get shoved off, so he just went, make it easy for myself, cut back, get the position that way. And he's only a couple positions behind, I believe now, to his championship rivals of the 2 elite cars, or at least it looks that way when we look at the screen. It is about, what, 3 or 4 cars behind now his championship rivals. I mean, that is a really good damage recovery after qualifying.
Yeah, it's been very, very impressive from Ginchard thus far. I said top 10, my apologies, he actually dropped back a little bit. It's his 12th position at the moment. Isaac Phelps, Ari Bansal, they're 7th and 8th position. So there is plenty of time for him to close back in. Bostanjev, though, struggling for speed. Here comes Alex O'Grady, a race winner this season back in Alton Park. Struggled a little bit in qualifying. Did the charcoal grey and blue there of the KMR Sport Car. The Irishman behind the wheel trying to get past Bostanjev. The Bulgarian looks to the outside as they go down into Vale and Club.
Double cut back here. O'Grady's going to go for the exit, try and get a run into Abbey. It's so hard because you end up at that right-hander and you almost lose that momentum. Immediately he's taking to the white line, forcing O'Grady to the outside. Really hard to go around the outside. Again, O'Grady reads that, going for another cut back. Going to try and get into the brakes here. He's got alongside. This is going to be his best opportunity. Really late on the brakes. He leaves racing room. That was really nice. Okay, no. Single-seater racing. That you've got to do what you can.
Much like what we saw from Ginchard on the way through, basically just diving it in hard, taking it straight over to the white line. Bostanjev didn't really have much of an overlap. It was front wheels to rear wheels and was escorted off the circuit. And now Bostanjev will be hungry as he stares to the rear end of O'Grady's KMR Sport Car. They work their way through the left-hander, then the right-hander as they go through Luffield and back out onto the start-finish straight. It's not going to be easy, though, because directly behind he's got McLean, he's got Dobson, he's got Bruce, he's got Magnussen, also Baxter and Dianarine in tow as they work their way through to complete the 3rd lap of proceedings, expected to have another 5 left to go.
Yeah, and it's this mid-pack that's just really fascinating as we're watching. And look, again, all spread out as they go into Maggotts and Beckett. And it is just building up this bottle, basically, of all these drivers being able to battle each other, and we'll probably see another big run from cars here on the exit. It looks like that battle with Magnussen and Baxter coming out onto Chapel at the minute. They're really tight together.
Flame Auricular there, 20th position at the moment, having got past Riddick and Dianarine.
Is this for second? Yep, Wilson and Ingram Hill for second, and that's allowing exactly what we said before about Jack getting away, a little bit of a lock up there. You don't want to be doing that and flat spotting the tyre, especially sort of this early into the race. It can really, especially with the Pirelli, it damages the compound. You start losing front grip.
They have been caught though, and they are being caught by Catulus. Here comes a look to the inside to try and make it a four-tech 1-2. They go into Abbey. Thomas Ingram Hill, full aggression on the inside, or takes it to the outside of the circuit. He'll still have the inside by the time they get onto the brakes and the run into the Village Loop section. Bit of a lock up from Taylor up ahead. There's a big move to the inside, and Thomas Ingram Hill will make it a four-tech 1-2 at the moment. Locked the front left though, and now he's bringing Wilson back into it. He's bringing Catulus back into it. He's bringing Kraling back into it as well.
That was really great racing from the pair of them there. It would have been so easy to lock a Will and Abbey. It's so high speed there, but they left each other just enough room, and Wilson's going back straight away on the brakes. Mega move there, mega bravery, and he's left room, he's left racing room for Ingram Hill. He's going to then try and cut back on him here, just slots in between Ingram Hill and Catulus, and Catulus is watching going, oh guys, just touch for me so I can get through easy. You just want to hang back a little bit and not get involved and just wait for the right opportunity while these two are racing this hard.
Absolutely thrilling. The more white and red car there of Thomas Ingram Hill and the number 8, the more red and then white car of Wilson, the bright yellow of Catulus, the bright blue of Kraling. That's back to Jason Pribble inside the top 10, looking very good at the moment. Junkos sets the fastest lap of the race, confirming your point from earlier. It definitely wasn't speed that was the problem for Leandro Junkos. And in fact, in doing so, he's got the gap down to this group. He's 1.3 seconds off the rear end of Kraling, and trust me, he is closing in and he's dragging the elite duo with him. Phelps and Bansal are about to join the party for the podium.
Exactly, and while he's doing that, we can see Gunchard is catching up to the other Douglases behind as well, so he's making that gap smaller and smaller, so I think we're going to see a couple more overtakes for sure by the end of this race of those two Hill speeds just picking their way through.
There'll be 3 laps to go once they cross the start-finish at the end of this one. So still plenty of time. Jason Pribble, got Holman behind, got Ginchard behind as well. You're absolutely right, Ginchard's now knocking at the door, looking for some solid results, looking more so not to lose too many points to the likes of Catulus, to the likes of Phelps, to the likes of Bansal in the Drivers' Championship. It's been a poor qualifying from our championship leader, but points aren't given out in qualifying, they're given out in the race, and he's proving why he's in the lead of the championship by marching his way forward. 5 positions gained thus far.
Yeah, just a little lock up there, that's a shame. He'd done all that hard work to close up and he's just lost a little bit of time, but hit the apex really nicely there. He's going to close in down the slipstream, down the straight. As we can see Jack having that mighty lead, he just needs to nurse it home. He's doing a really good job. I believe this will be his first win, wouldn't it? I think if he wins this, so he's done really good. He's just battling in the background, trying to break the toe, the 2 pace cars. Got to be careful not to do that too excessively. Again, you see Gunchard really closing in. It's hard to get him moved on at Cops though, so all about picking your moment. Try and get the run from Magnussen and Beckett and set yourself up from here.
He's got 6 minutes to make some more progress, maybe get himself a top 10. I think a top 10 would be seen as a very decent drive from Dan Ginchard. Got not too far off the rear end. Alex O'Grady will be trying to close in if this lot all battle. Out wide goes Ginchard. Got to be careful. Seen him do that a couple of times throughout this race. The number 17, by the way, has been given a time penalty for track limits. That is Stefan Bostanciev.
Holman
there goes
wide.
the move. Yeah, Ginchard is through on Holman after a bit of a mistake going through Magus Beckers and Chapel.
Holman, though, has got the run immediately because of how close he was, so he's going to get the slipstream, and it's going to be a battle into Chapel. They've got to be careful again that if you battle too hard, you're going to lose time for the car in front. Holman's going to go for the cutback here. We've cut back now to second and third. Oh, is that third and fourth? Yeah, third and fourth of Wilson and Catulus. Catulus has been very patient. It seems that Wilson's just dropped off on pace from where he was on that first lap. Again, just moving to the middle of the circuit, trying to break the toe a little bit.
Thomas Ingram Hill looking very good at the moment, having broken away, looking for his first podium in GB4. Looked really good in practice on Thursday and Friday, did Thomas Ingram Hill. And he's capitalising at the moment Meanwhile, Wilson is starting to feel the pressure. Catullus is starting to hammer for that podium. Kraling as well will be desperate to start out his GB4 career with a podium, knocking at the door, looking for a potential move, but there is only 2 laps left to go once they get the line. There's a dominating performance from the Fortec duo running first and second. Can they build that gap more so?
Yeah, it looks like they are, because Wilson's just really holding up the pack now behind. He just couldn't really hang on there to the back of Ingram Hill in the slipstream. So now he's the one leading that hole in the air. And Catullus has just been edging a little bit closer every lap. Just a bit more again on that exit. You know, we seem to be seeing it's the run to Chapel. That's the one that was really giving people the opportunity to have a go. Or making sure you're close enough coming through Abbey, through the, you know, the Formula 1 turn 1, so that you can have a go into that big braking zone.
There's plenty of opportunities. The red and white there with the slightly blue highlights. That's the Arden. The number 27, that is Leon Wilson. That is 3rd position in this race. The bright yellow of Alex Catullus sits 4th in the championship and a fair way off the championship lead. It would be important points to go and grab the podium. But it does seem as though Wilson's got the measure at the moment. He's just playing his cards right. Basically, he's driving the race line and going as quick as he possibly can.
It looks like Junkos is actually closer to Argent than I think Catullus is to Wilson. They've really closed that gap there. There seems to be a load of little packs. Pribble as well, with Coulthard extremely close there. So there could be a nice little battle going on there, and then that will back them up actually into Gunchard, who will be really praying for that to happen.
Onto the Hamilton straight they go, and again it is a tight battle that sees the Arden leading well, a trio of elites in there. You've got the Douglas car as well as the Hill Speed, which sometimes can be mistaken for a pace performance car. I've done that a fair few times. It's a very similar livery, but we'll have one final lap for them to try and make the moves here. It's looking pretty close here for Catullus. If he can get a good drive off here through Aintree and down to Brooklands, there might be a move, but I think it might be a bit too far away.
They could, but he's feeling it that himself, Wilson, that there could be a move. So again, he's just moving over, trying to break the toe a little bit. He's moved back so he doesn't feel that under threat coming into Brooklands. It's really hard to get the overlap into Brooklands, especially because the GB4 brakes now are just so good. Yeah, it's really hard to actually, you know, you can brake so late with these cars into that corner. You actually, like, you're turning before you even hit the brake. So really hard to get the overlap there. You can't lunge. You have to already be on them on the straight and moving out to be able to pull a move off. Very, very close coming into Copse.
Final lap of the race then. The last one to deal with. The last one for Wilson to measure. The last one for Taylor to measure to take a first victory in GB4. But he's not under pressure. He's got his teammate 2.5 seconds behind, and he can just look after his tyres and look after the race. The pressure is all on the shoulders of this man here, trying to grab another podium.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a great race for Jack Taylor. It's, you know, dream come true when you look in your mirror and you see this big gap because everyone's been battling, and you just know that you can just do exactly what you did in qualifying, exactly what you've been doing in practice, and you're going to have this win. You know, no one has a pace advantage here in GB4 of, you know, seconds where they can just, you know, completely fly from, you know, second to first and catch a 2.5 second gap. But it's so close. It's such a tight, competitive grid. It's, you know, a second, you know, difference basically between first to 18th, 19th. That is so compact and it's so difficult, and it's all in the margin. So when you've got a 3-second lead, they're not going to catch you. As long as you can do exactly what you've been doing and not make mistakes, you will win.
Yeah, indeed. Well, the timer is ticking down to 0, and the pressure is being soaked up by our drivers here. It's been a very exciting start to the race. It's been a much calmer run over the last 3 or so laps as things have settled down here at Silverstone. They head back out onto the Wellington straight. Taylor in position, Ingram Hill in position as well. Will Wilson join them on the podium? The march towards comes in from Catullus, looking to wrestle his way back into full championship contention. Looks to the inside of the Brooklands and can't quite do it. One final corner for them to nestle their way through. They head through Luffield. Taylor will lead them up towards the line. And 4th time is the charm, a 4th podium in GB4. And Taylor will take his first victory. Leading alongside him, it's a Fortec 1-2. Ingram Hill onto the podium for the first time. It's back-to-back podiums though for Wilson after his opening victory back in Snetterton, but a superb drive to 3rd to fend off Catullus. Kraling, what a great drive though on debut.
Yeah, really, really good drive there. It's a shame the start went as it did, but clearly, you know, the kid has a head on him, because it could have been so much worse after that. You could have just lost momentum and fell back and back and back, but he regathered himself and then managed to come back through.
Superb performance, and again, really, really exciting race there. Very much enjoyed that one. I'm sure there might be a few tears down there in pit lane from Jack Taylor and of course Papa, who will be down there, probably the first person to go over and celebrate with. And what an experience that must be as well, to have converted from pole position. And you know, obviously, again, you've had a pole position around here. Max had 2 pole positions around here. You know how hard it can be to win around here, even from pole position.
Yeah, it's very difficult, because it's so hard to break that toe and break the effect of everyone coming behind you. But Jack managed to do it, and then, as I said before, he did the right thing. He just kept his head down. He did his times. He did the times he knew he could do, and it delivered him a very well-deserved race win.
Yeah, really, really impressive there. And I kind of wonder if with one of these, you know, is it the first of many? Is this going to open up? He started up the season really, really strong. I remember that back in Toronto. He had started from the front row of the grid, had a little bit of drama, fair enough. He's had great speed this season, but this is the kind of thing that can make him click for the final couple of rounds of the season.
Yeah, it really could, and it's really great to see how far he's come. It shows what experience can do. Again, you know, second-year driver. Last year, he just kept chipping away, you know, in the background, picking up experience. You know, this year we've seen, you know, flashes of what he can do with a really strong qualifying, you know, first round straight on the front row. But, you know, due to, you know, whatever different reasons, he always struggled to get that result. So it's really nice to finally see things, you know, come to fruition for him and he get that win.
Yeah, again, a superb performance. And I see, it'll probably throw him into a solid position in the championship. We're now up to 7th in the championship, courtesy of that victory. The championship lead, I'm sure we'll go through all this in due course, but the championship lead will be cut down to just 33 points. Superb drive, though, from our race winner Taylor there. A first victory and a 4th podium in GB4. Of course, Thomas Ingram Hill alongside. It'll be a first podium for him in the championship. And, of course, joining them on the podium, a superb drive as well from Wilson to fend off Catoulas all the way through that race to grab another podium after that excellent victory back in Snetterton race 3. Ollie Dutt and Joseph Loke as well straight over to congratulate Taylor. I know Joseph Loke's been putting in a lot of work. Mike Epps there also. Again, the celebrations, rightfully so, all down there in basically the Park Verme area.
Yeah, exactly. I think what you just said there, 33 points been cut down. I think it was 36 before the start of the. So it shows what a good job Gunchard has done to actually make sure it really wasn't that bad in terms of, you know, he's lost 3 points. He started 17th.
Yeah.
So really great drive from him there. Great drives throughout the field. Again, GB4 delivers at Silverstone.
Yeah, 100%. And again, we'll have 2 races tomorrow and what could be some very difficult conditions. There's Jack Taylor and his dad. A little bit of a hug between them. And again, a superb performance. Dan Hickey, a driver who's raced in the past as well in the championship. Thomas Ingram Hill, it kind of feels a bit overshadowed just by how good that drive was from Taylor. But Ingram Hill on the podium, really, really good performance as well for a first podium in the championship.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, they've been putting in the miles and it's paying off. You know, so. It shows, you know, I say if you can put in the miles, if you can keep coming back and just keep building up the experience, what you can do. So really great drive from both of them. And of course, it's going to be fantastic getting a 1-2. That's, you know, you can't beat that. That's the top. That's the ultimate goal, to have all of your drivers finish in the top positions. So.
Thomas Ingram Hill having a word from the big man himself, Jonathan Palmer, of course, the guy behind the championship that's been crucial to this championship even existing in the first place and being so accessible for all these drivers. Jonathan Palmer's very, very close with a lot of players. Let's head down though to Jon Jackson to catch up with our top 3.
Well, thank you very much, Lewis McGlade. You put it on pole position. You won the race. Tell me about your race.
I mean, yeah, it was good. I got a good start, just kind of, paced myself, tried not to make any mistakes, tried to keep the tyres alive a little bit, but yeah, I just kept it clean and kind of just paced myself, and yeah, it was good.
Any sketchy moments at all?
No, I don't. There wasn't really any sketchy moments the whole race, really. I just went out and did quality laps almost.
I was going to say, when you dominate like that, we don't often see much of you because we're kind of watching the battles further back. So as much as you want to be on camera loads, right? Actually, it's a good thing in a way. It's weird.
Yeah, it is a good thing. I think the only time anything happened, I locked up a tiny bit, and that was literally the only bit that happened in my
Let's not pick holes. We don't need to pick holes. Your parents are obviously here. Your mum's come over all the way here. She's already told me just before when you get out of the car, it's already worth the journey. You've got another couple of races to go. So what can you achieve?
Well, tomorrow I start from pole again, so we'll obviously try and convert it to another win. The thing is, a slight chance of rain tomorrow as well, so that I think that plays in my favour. I kind of like the rain, and I think that gives me more opportunities in the reverse grid to move up and get some more points. So yeah.
Team as well, 1-2.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 1-2 finish. I think it's our first. It was our first 1-2 finish this season. So yeah, good.
Excellent stuff. We'll let you go and celebrate with your family, and we'll see you on the podium shortly.
Yep. Thank you.
There we go, Jack Taylor. We're going to go to Thomas Ingram Hill, who's just behind here. We'll come and chat to him. So your first GB4 podium, how are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. It's been a long time coming. Bit disappointed with qualifying after losing a lap, but we came back from that race and really happy. And Forte did a great job, so yeah.
You made up a few places in one go. Talk me through that move.
Yeah, no. Off the start, I struggled with starts this year. Then we started working on it, and now we're really good. So yeah, I got quite a lot in T1 on lap 1 and off the start, and that was just mega, and then we got our head down.
Really good for the team as well to have a 1-2. You must be impressed with what Jack did.
Yeah, no, it's been great work everyone at Fortec, and the mental attitude's been great. Also we want to be better after the first couple of rounds, and it's showed, and it's been really good.
Well, look, you guys have put a big smile on Richard and Ollie's face, and good luck in the next couple of races.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Go Thomas Ingram Hill. We're going to just not stand in the way of the photos of Jack Taylor. We're going to walk across. There is a chance of drizzle. There also could be a chance of drizzy, but I'm not entirely sure what the latest is on that one. Congratulations on another podium. Back-to-back podiums for you now.
Yeah, it's could have kept second, but there was a few mistakes in it. Tyres went off, but overall it was a good race. Didn't lose positions.
And obviously, this is a track that you know quite well now. We're back here for a second time this season. What can you achieve in the next couple of races this weekend?
Well, hopefully a win, and then hopefully more podiums. Hopefully we can get 3 podiums in a row. So it looks like it's going to be wet tomorrow. So I do like the wet, and I think we're going to be quite quick in the wet, because we always are around here, especially in the wet. So hopefully we can maximise that and get a few more positions off the start as well.
Yeah, always a chance of rain at Silverstone. Congratulations. Speaking of podiums, we'll let you go to the podium.
Thank you.
There we go, Liam Wilson with Arden. So 3 drivers all wearing a little bit of red on the podium, and Lewis McGlade will talk you through it as it's an incredibly loud pit lane horn goes off in my ear.
Jon Jackson is now deaf, unfortunately. That's the way I think of the pit lane. Very loud, and of course more racing happening around the Silverstone circuit, meaning they'll jump straight onto the podium. Of course, we do have GB3 coming up a little bit later on in the day. For Jack Taylor and Liam Wilson, it'll be a return to the podium for the pair of those two. Of course, they were on the podium back in Snetterton in the reverse grid race. Of course, Liam Wilson being victorious in that one. Jack Taylor dropping down to second from what was first place. Of course, the reverse grid pole there for him. This time, though, it is Taylor who is victorious, ahead of Ingram Hill, ahead of Wilson, the 3 drivers we caught up with there. Do remember as well, tomorrow's first race, it's a double pole position for Jack Taylor. He'll be starting from pole position once again. Technically, he'll be starting from first place for the 3rd consecutive time. It doesn't count as 3 poles in a row, though, courtesy of one of those being a reverse grid pole. Importantly, though, the last 2 races have really thrown Jack Taylor right up there. Not into championship hunt, but into the mix a little bit more. He's in 7th in the championship. Realistically, a top 5 is up for grabs. He's got 156 points. The 2 drivers ahead being Alex O'Grady and Enzo Holman both have 175 points apiece. Unfortunately for Taylor, with just 8 races left to go in the 2025 season, he would have a 106-point margin to overcome to catch Dan Ginchard. That feels somewhat unlikely. However, not impossible. But it's more just doing that to pass Ginchard whilst also passing Ari Bansal, Isaac Phelps, Alex Catoulas, Alex O'Grady and Enzo Holman as well. Seems maybe slightly unlikely. He is embroiled though in a fight for 7th position in the championship alongside Leon Wilson, who of course the two of those separated by 11 points. Speaking of which, there is Leon Wilson onto the podium for the 2nd time this season, back to back of course with that victory. Onto the podium for the 1st time this season, it is Thomas Ingram Hill, 4th place back in the final race at Snetterton. That was his personal best result, didn't last that long as he already beats that one. But of course, the victory, the big man, it is Jack Taylor onto the top step of the podium. A superb performance from the Fortec team to grab a 1-2. Of course, Elite Motorsports have had a 1-2-3 this season in the 2nd race of the championship back in Donington Park. Fortec not quite getting that one, but still a 1-2, very solid indeed. And the trophies being handed out once again by Jonathan Palmer. But that one for Taylor, I'm surprised, no tears, no nothing. Just seems, he's a pretty chill guy anyway, is Taylor. It's just, I really want to hammer home how much of an improvement it has been this season from Jack Taylor. Last season, midfield runner, maybe, you know, mid to rear of the field runner, to be kind. This season, front runner. Honestly, has been up there, and a result like this can really make that one click. And again, starting from pole position in tomorrow's opening race as well. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, they'll get the overalls all wet. It's going to be wet tomorrow anyway, so you might as well spray some champagne around and get everything ready and enjoy the moment. Again, a superb 1-2 from Fortec. Let's go to highlights. Highlights from round 13 of the GB4 Championship, partnered by the BRDC, and it was a great start from pole position from Taylor. On debut, Kraling dropping back into 5th position. Obviously, would go side by side with his teammate Dayton Coulthard. It would drop Coulthard into the clutches of Junkos, who was having a bit of an attack coming in from the Elite Motorsports cars as well. They ended up fighting themselves, did Isaac Phelps and Ari Bansal, of course, those drivers that's 2nd and 3rd in the championship. A move for 2nd position in the race, though, would see Wilson under attack from Thomas Ingram Hill. Whilst Ingram Hill's teammate was checking out into the distance, Ingram Hill was trying to make this a Fortec 1-2. Out onto what is the Grand Prix start-finish straight. There we go, the Hamilton straight. By the time they got into the Village Loop section, it was the number 8 of Ingram Hill making the move and going up into 2nd position. A bit of a lock-up as well would maybe open the door for Wilson to come through. Full send Wilson would go, but with about 3 laps left to go in the race, it would be a Fortec 1-2. Bit of a mistake coming in from Enzo Holman, opening up the door for Dan Ginchard, who started from 17th position, was able to rise his way all the way up into 11th position. Meanwhile, the focus on the final few laps of the race was the 27 of Wilson fending off Catoulas. He was able to keep Catoulas at bay and take home a podium. Ahead of that, though, and comfortably ahead, it was a first victory in GB4 for Taylor, joined by his teammate Ingram Hill in 2nd. A great drive for the Fortec team, finishing 1 and 2 in the race. An excellent performance. Well, superb stuff there from the Fortec team. A brilliant position for them in the race. Let's take a look at provisional results from the first race of the weekend. It's Taylor and Ingram Hill, Fortec 1st and 2nd in the race, with Wilson in 3rd position, Catoulas in 4th, with Kraling on debut into 5th position, able to keep Junkos at bay, who was looking very fast through the mid-portion of the race. Isaac Phelps, Ari Bansal, 7th and 8th position, with Coulthard and Pribble inside the top 10. Behind that is Dan Ginchard, championship leader, having that cut down now to just 33 points. Still a pretty healthy margin for him. Holman, O'Grady, McLean in 14th. Dobson in 15th, showing some good speed in the Arden, with Megan Bruce, Luca Magnussen, with Baxter, Dianarine and Flame Auricula rounding out the top 20. 5 cars left to go, with Ruddock, Mile, Bastangiev and McDaniel. Unfortunately, Bastangiev having a few pace issues earlier on in the race. Lily Watkins did not make the race start after a technical problem on the Hamilton straight. She pulled to one side and was rescued by the marshals, and hopefully will be good to go for race 2 tomorrow morning. Of course, for Ginchard, though, it is a good position in the championship. 262 points for Ginchard over Ari Bansal. Should be fantastic. We'll hand back, though, to Jon Jackson, who's in the paddock.
Oh, here we go. Great highlights there. Thank you very much, Lewis, for talking us through those. We're just trying to find someone from Fortec, given that they've just come first and second in that race. And I've just sent our fantastic floor manager, Chana, into their garage to go and grab Ollie Dutton or Richard Dutton. Let's find out. Will it be Ollie? Will it be Richard? It's Ollie Dutton. Here he is, the man with the pinkest camper van I've ever seen.
I sold it now.
He's sold the camper van. Right, that's for another time. A great start to the weekend for you. 1-2.
Yeah. Tom was a bit disappointed on losing his 2 laps in quali. He should have been up there. But to fight back, get a good start, and to P3, I think, by Magnus and Beckett, and then get his head down and catch Leon and take the 1-2 for us. Brilliant. And Jack made a fantastic start and just, did what he needed to do. And I'm so happy for them both. I'm so happy for them both. They deserve it.
Big celebrations from Jack's family as well. Obviously, his mum's come all the way over to join his dad here from Tasmania. The chance for a repeat tomorrow is quite high as well, with Jack on pole position, with Tom also looking pretty quick in that race.
Yeah, I think Tom's P4. We're not sure. Obviously, we used our new that time because we thought maybe the weather's going to come in tomorrow, maybe wet for race 2, potentially race 3. So I think they'll just take their confidence on, and I think they're happy. So there's no reason why not.
We'll let you continue the celebrations just after you tell me. Do you get a good price for the van?
No, I think the van market's not doing too well at the moment.
Not a great van market, but I mean, at least this made up for a little bit, right?
Exactly.
There we go. Right, the man who used to own the pinkest van I've ever known, Ollie Dutton there from Fortec. Check him out on Instagram if you want to see the van. It was actually quite a cool camper van. Anyway, I digress. GB3 is coming up in about 90 minutes or so check us out here for that on the MSV YouTube channel, or just check the GB3 social media channels so you know exactly when we are live. And of course, there are 2 more races in the GB4 Championship starting tomorrow at around 11:30 in the morning, I believe. So we'll see you then for some more GB4, and you can check out all the race reports and everything on the GB4 website. And we'll be back in 90 minutes for the first race of the weekend here in the GB3 Championship here at Silverstone.